All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Indy Sooner. It's your boy JP. We're running a little late. Apologize. I'm a little under the weather tonight as well. So I'm not gonna try to do a lot of talking. I'm gonna have my boy Trevor on the show a little bit. But hey, something I want to do though. I follow this podcast. It's a podcast of Christian rappers that I follow, and something that's hilarious that they do. They're always like showing each other love in the beginning. They say like hilarious names. I wanted to start doing it tonight, so I want to introduce my co-host, the man with the smokers. 3 restaurants, doing his thing,
Oh God.
big flexing, the hero that we all love and need in Sooner Twitter, Travis Davison. Travis, how you doing, man?
Man, can you see, am I blushing? Can you tell? I might be. I might be. That's all too kind. I actually had to back down Steely yesterday on the radio, Steely on sports. Him and Parker got that radio show on the ref on 1400. And he's like, the guru with all this. I'm like, dog, I got a local bar and grill, a small little pizza joint, and a steak spot. Like there are people that got a lot more going on. Today we had our our opener in the kitchen. Oh, it was a nightmare. We had our opener in the kitchen, no show. And so I get the call. I'm in the dentist chair, right? I'm in for a cleaning. And he was like, hey, dog, we're so booked up right now. You have a cavity in your back right bottom. It can be fine, but we should probably put a filling in there because we can't get you in until like May. And I was like, okay, we'll go ahead and knock it out. So anyways, I'm like all numbed up, right side of my face all numb. I get a call from our delivery driver that's delivering our food order. He's like, hey man, there's nobody here. I'm like, it's 10:30. What do you mean there's nobody there? There ain't nobody there. So anyways, I had to roll in. Luckily my server had turned on I had plans all morning. Nope. Had to go to the restaurant and I was slinging pizzas until 3 p.m. just covered head to toe in flour. And
Yeah.
it was nuts. So anyways, I've been looking forward to this all day. Ain't no doubt about that. I've been looking forward to it really all week, man. We got a lot to talk about.
We got a ton to talk about. A ton. Obviously, as you guys know, since we last talked last week, we have hired a brand new head football coach at the University of Oklahoma, and one Brent Venables, who, by all intents and purposes, is a home run hire. Somebody that we've just been super duper excited for, that the whole fan base has been clamoring for, even former players. And so, we're super excited about that. But hey, real quick, I want to start the show off. Obviously, as you guys know, Jeff Levy was hired by the Sooners today, offensive coordinator from Ole Miss, guy that's had top 10, top 5 college football offenses the last 3 years, I believe, at Ole Miss. Had Matt Corral basically almost as a Heisman front runner up until here recently when he got hurt. But if he didn't get hurt, there was every reason to believe he potentially was going to have a shot to at least be a finalist. And so, he brings a lot of innovation, a lot of headiness to that space that, we a lot of times a couple months ago probably would have said was just reserved for Lincoln, when the fact of the matter is that Levy's had just as good of an offense as Lincoln has in the SEC. And so with that being said, obviously he's a former OU guy, but obviously there's some baggage that comes with him as far as being Arbrough's son-in-law and obviously being at Baylor when that whole thing started. And so, I invited some people here tonight because one of the things that I talked about on Twitter today was how it was interesting that when we hired him, Oklahoma hired him. It's probably just because we're Oklahoma, and we're a big name. But, UCF and Ole Miss, 2 other public schools, have hired him since that time. And there was, probably some local stuff going on at that time, but there wasn't this giant kind of loud outrage about it. And so my purpose in that tweet was not dismissing anything, not saying that Jeff Levy doesn't potentially have things he needs to answer questions for, or Joe C. and Brent Venables for hiring Jeff Levy. But I want to make sure as well that we're always consistent, because at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. And I'm never going to dunk on – I've never been that guy that's going to dunk on somebody for clout. that is going to literally like, oh, I just heard about a situation, so now I'm gonna speak on it and say, how dare these people, and act holier than thou. If you know the situation, right, and you've done your research on it, look, I get it. I get why we feel that way. I have a sister that runs track at the University of Oklahoma, right? So it's a personal for me too, because obviously I wouldn't want somebody that was complicit as far as giving or allowing things to go on at Baylor with my sister being there. So hear me on that. Yet at the same time, and being real with y'all and be raw and honest, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, and I'm a believer in redemption and second chances. Doesn't mean that he doesn't need to answer for things. And if he has things he needs to answer for, he needs to do that. But at the same time, I also believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt as far as Josie. I think that we have to give Josie the benefit of the doubt that he did his due diligence, that he did have that process. And if we find out he didn't, then Josie will answer for it too. But I think Josie has had a long track record of good moral standing within that. I mean, Maggie Nichols, who is the poster child, right, for kind of sexual assault and whatnot, and everything that went wrong, especially with U.S. gymnastics, went to Oklahoma, was outspoken vocal, still a coach at Oklahoma. And so I have to believe that Josie would consider that. And again, like I said, if he doesn't, guys, then that's a conversation we need to have. But I'm never just going to jump on somebody's back because it's popular to do so. I want to make sure we're always having nuanced conversations. And I had a lot of conversations today with people that allowed me to share my point, and they understood where I was coming from. They understood my heart and that I wasn't trying to do that. And that's what it's all about, right? Is us having relationships with each other. Like me knowing Trav knowing me. Like if there was ever anything that either of us were out of pocket about, we talk to each other about it. And we'd be like, yo, like, here's what's going on, because we understand each other's heart. I'm not just going to go at Trav on Twitter or go at Trav about or talk to somebody else about it. I'm going to talk to my brother, right? Because I know him. And so that, like I said, guys, that's where my heart is on it. I want y'all to hear that. And not that I feel like I had to explain myself, but that's the type of person I am. I like being transparent. I like being honest. That's how my dad raised me. So I want to share that with you guys as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Josie answer some questions that I'm sure a lot of people have, and rightfully so. With all the allegations and stuff that has happened in the past. And I trust that, they did their due process, that they feel like Jeff Levy's in a spot where he's going to be able to thrive, and where he's grown. He's not going to allow that to happen again. Obviously, we can get into the semantics of the whole situation, but ultimately, he's going to be part of our football team. And again, we have to trust that Josie and Board of Regents and Brent Venables know the past, know the track record, and in knowing that, vetted him probably more thoroughly than anybody else. You guys know how Josie works. And that in that they said, hey, we're not going to bring somebody in here that's going to ruin the Oklahoma brand. I just don't think they would do that. So I just want to get it off my chest, explain where I'm coming from. That Trav, you have anything to say about it? Feel free.
Yeah, not necessarily. It's one of those where, it's not really up to me, right? It's not really up to any of us. I mean, we're not the ones hiring him. If Josie took a whole week to be thorough enough to hire Brett Venables, then I can definitely guarantee he's being thorough through this. But let's talk some football. We got a lot of exciting things going on. Everybody in this chat arguing about defensive coordinators, all this, that, and the other. Always, that's good. Well, and that's the thing. It's funny. It's like, the next domino to fall, right? So we had all this about head coach, right? Then we were like, okay, it's Venables. And then every question, like on the spaces or on Twitter, everything, it's like, okay, who's the offensive coordinator? Yeah. And that was all anybody wanted to talk about. Then we took like a little break to talk about Schmitty. And then it's like, all right, now who's the defensive coordinator? It's like, it's funny because like I'm wondering when I just can't wait until the whole staff is filled out. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but so maybe it's bad for us. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to fill the staff out because then maybe people stop tuning in. They don't have any questions for it.
Yeah, it's a fact. Any more OU rumors in news?
Yeah, but yeah, I think as far as when we talk about defensive coordinators, obviously my pick is Lanning. It's a situation where you think, okay, did this guy just get interviewed for the head coaching position? Maybe they brought him in to vet him for the defensive coordinator position and talk to him. There would have to be a caveat, though. I think it's widely accepted that the Georgia defensive coordinator job is not like you talk about Jim Knowles making an upgrade going from Oklahoma State to Ohio State. I think Georgia and Oklahoma, at least from a defensive standpoint, especially currently, kind of on the same level. Obviously, historically, Oklahoma's a better program than Georgia, but Georgia's been at the top of the recruiting rankings, at the top of the actual rankings, and near the top for a long time now. So definitely no shade to Georgia in that, because it's a great job, it's a great defense, but that's why I think if it did happen, there has to be some other caveat, right? There must be. Keep in mind, he's 15 years younger than Brett Venables. Maybe he thinks, hey, I'll go take this job and be the defensive coordinator, where I don't have Will Muschamp trying to push me out of the job. I don't. I think some people, Georgia fans that have been talking to me, they think that they have the feeling that it's only a matter of time before Kirby gets his buddy Muschamp the defensive coordinator job. So, it'll be interesting to see how those dynamics work, because if he did that, it would be a situation where Kirby values his own expertise on defense more than he does his defensive coordinators necessarily. Because if you just put out one of the top defenses in NCAA history, and then you're like, nah, I think I can do it with a different guy. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to run that back, especially with a young guy like Lanning. So my pick would be Lanning. It'll be interesting to see if Brent goes to the Clemson, the Clemson tree, if you will, or the Oklahoma tree. You got guys like Brandon Hall. You got Cat in Louisiana Monroe that people are sending me. I think I'll tell you what, that's been a fun part of doing all the spaces and whatnot. Is I get so many just DMs about, oh man, keep an eye on this guy because I got this. But it's not the typical. I mean, I do get plenty of these, but it's not the typical. Hey, my mom gets her hair done at the same place that this coach's wife's old college roommate gets her hair done, and they did this. But you know what I mean? This is actual stuff. Hey, this family told me that this person's been reached out to. So that kind of stuff is kind of cool, kind of an ancillary benefit of doing those spaces. But Spencer, I would definitely like Kobe to come back. For those of you that haven't been on the spaces, Kobe came in on Monday, was it? I think it was Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday night.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday. Jeez. So he was talking. He wanted to talk on the space, and it was cool because he's just such a good kid, man. And his family's an OU family. He's been committed since just after his sophomore season, I believe. I just don't think that he just ends all of that relationship and whatnot just at the drop of a hat. I think he was trying to play it. I think he was trying to be safe. I think he wanted to make sure he had a spot, because obviously we all know Kobe McKenzie for what he is. This amazing, big, strong, fast linebacker. Just a massive individual. His tape looks amazing. All that. So obviously he would have a spot no matter what. I imagine, whoever took over, right? He fits every scheme. So, but I think he was just playing it safe, as we've talked about. Kids going in the portal, kids doing that. They have to make the right decisions for their future. This is a 40-year decision. He keeps on saying that. He keeps on saying this is a 40-year decision. So, I mean, what's he supposed to do? At least at Texas, he's like, okay, I know I have a spot. Well, what if they load up their class and then, whoever the hire was, if he wasn't sure who it was going to be, what if they don't want him? And now he can't go to Texas, he can't go to Oklahoma. And then, I think he'd maybe end up at Tech or something. But at the same time, if you have a chance to play for, and he wants to play in the SEC, he can't call coaches, with 2 or 3 days and say, hey, I want to come to, wherever. Right. But I believe Brent was supposed to have his in-house with him today. If I'm not mistaken, hopefully that went well. I have no reason to believe it's not. Anybody who's ever met Brett Venables, I don't see any in-home going poorly, especially with a guy like Kobe who has been an OU guy for so long. Obviously, Venables is an OU guy. And the fact that they're bringing other staffers with them. This isn't just he's going to run down. I mean, they're doing full court press on a lot of these guys. So the fact that, Cale Gundy's with them, they're kind of, they're bringing everybody. So that's the thing. I need to see Kobe in this class, man. He's such a good dude. Yeah. He got dealt a raw deal like so many of the recruits did. And it's really just been, man, it's just been refreshing to see a lot of the guys. And don't be one of these people online that's saying, you decommitted, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to be here. Dog, if you had been courted to a job, and like this one guy was courting you, he's your buddy, he's courting you to this job and this, that, and the other, and then you wanted to go there and then your buddy gets fired like the week before, you can't be like, I was really committed to this blank corporation. No, yes. I was going there because my buddy talked me into it. He convinced me that this was a great job and we were going to work together. He was going to be my superior. He was going to set me up for success. Well, who knows who the new guy is? What if you hate the new guy, and what if the new guy hates you? So these guys are making the right decision for their future. But man, I keep comparing it to all these defensive commits that are in the class, unless it's not a scheme fit or something, but all these commits in the class, they simply they upgraded, right? I mean, it's like you parked your, I don't want to hate on anybody's car, but you parked your Toyota, in the garage, you went to bed, you woke up, you went outside, and there's a brand new Bentley in there. Like, you can't, that's Brent Venables is the Bentley, I mean, he is, for all intents and purposes, maybe the best linebacker coach in the country. He's appeared in 8 of the last 21 national title games.
Yep, almost half.
I mean, he develops defenses. He's got top 10 defenses coming out of his ears. They've probably had the best defense over the last day. Like, if you were just to take his reign at Clemson and compare that era with any other school, that's been the best defense the entire time. Tons of guys in the NFL. Looks like he's going to bring some of the staff with him. I mean, if you're a defensive player that committed to Oklahoma, I'd be looking at that offer going, man, this just turned into gold. I'm gonna be coached by a better guy than I even committed to.
Yeah.
Especially certain positions in the defense that were said to have not be very well coached.
Facts.
I'll put it that way.
Facts. Hey, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my boy of the DDG Podcast. I hopped on his show last week. It was really good. Honestly, I felt bad, dog. Like, I think I may have jinxed y'all because I went on there and we were all of us, obviously we were all dogs. I said, hey, y'all might get it done this weekend. And obviously it didn't happen. Hey, you have a chance to get him back. Hopefully beat Michigan. But I just wanted to shout you out, bro. Thanks for coming and supporting us tonight.
I'm gonna throw this guy up here. Any chance on getting Dindy and Derek Moore back? No. Those recruitments were pretty well tied to their position coaches, especially Derek Moore. There's no secret that, Jamar Cain was the lead recruit on him, was the lead recruit on Jayshawn Barham. That was going to probably end up in Norman, and was the lead recruiter on Marvin Jones Jr., who was going to commit the Monday after Lincoln skipped town. So, yeah, any of you that follow me on Twitter know I'm a big Jamar guy. I thought that could have been handled better. We'll just put it that way. But I can't wait to go see him out in LA. There's no doubt about that. I was talking to some of my boys the other day. It was yesterday, actually, up at Cardinal. And we're like, man, what we're going to do is we're going to go either if Spencer ends up at UCLA, I would love to catch a doubleheader of UCLA and USC somehow, if that's even a possibility. USC one in the morning, one at night, and then find out what's going on Sunday. If Baker or Jalen or Kyler, any of them are going to be in LA playing either the Chargers or the Rams, that would be awesome. So I'm going to try and do a little football weekend. I told Jamar I got to come out and see him, but it might get a little awkward because, I don't really want to see Lincoln. Because I'm sure if his wife and his wife's parents felt threatened about me coming to get the smokers, I guarantee Lincoln heard about it. And the last thing I want to do is be like, hey, Lincoln. And he's like, so threatening my family, huh? I'm like,
yeah, really?
no. I mean, and not like he would do it. I mean, what's he going to do?
Who knows? Maybe.
He's already a skinny cat. I mean, and that was on an Oklahoma diet. Cali, I think that boy gonna blow away.
He gonna thin out.
Yeah.
We're bringing the mob of Sooners fans out there to LA to rough them up.
I'll tell you what. Well, that's the thing. I was like, I told him, I was like, hey man, I want to come out and see you for a game. I was like, and I'd like to see, a couple others out there, but it's just funny to me. I'm like, I don't think Lincoln's gonna want to see me. Hopefully he's busy. He's probably busy. So, grills and girls. But yeah, it's UCLA's interesting. We'll be going. Spencer was there. It does feel like DTR has been at UCLA forever. I do think, keep in mind, Spencer still got a lot of time to play because he had that COVID year. He had his redshirt year. I mean, I know it feels like Spencer's been around a long time, but he was still a freshman going into this year because he was a true freshman, and then he was a redshirt freshman last year. And then it was a COVID year. So Spencer started his third year still as a redshirt freshman. So the guy's still got a lot of time to play. The guy's got a lot of talent. And him with Chip Kelly would be awesome. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun to watch. They've got a great run game over there. They ran all over LSU. That was fun to watch. So yeah, I think UCLA would be a fun matchup for him. And if he ever was, if Spencer ever felt like OU fans didn't love him anymore, if he goes up against Lincoln Riley, he might have more support from OU than he's ever had before. I mean, you will have more people rooting for Spencer. Facts. Because you'll have you'll have like the 25 UCLA fans rooting for him as well. So it'll be all the OU fans and the 25 UCLA fans all rooting for Spencer to beat Lincoln and gang. So, man, it's going to be a fun time. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt. Hey,
let's talk about
messing with Schmitty in the summertime. Okay,
that's right, man.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, that's been one of the best parts of Twitter in the last couple of days, man.
Yeah.
Or the last day, maybe. Yeah, guys, it's only been a day. My week's all screwed up, man.
Yeah.
But that's been a great part of Twitter, man. It's just seeing all the former players come out. And what's cool is, like, I know when you see, because Schmitty got there in what, 99? Like, so you get a lot of the, the layman quotes and JD Runnels and, all these, like, Aaron Colvin, and you get all these guys tweeting about it. But then, like, you get Caleb Kelly tweeting about it because Caleb Kelly's been there since, like, 2008, it feels like. But
long time.
But no, he's been there, and it was so funny when he shared that tweet. And he's like, I was on Schmitty's good side, and then I overslept one day, and I jumped in on the next workout and just completed the workout and felt like I was good to go. He's like, I got 1 foot out the door, and he's like, yeah, let's go to that master, dog. Big dog.
Come on, big dog.
Yep, come on, big dog. Go to the master.
Man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I think that's going to help us. I think it's going to help us out a lot. I mean,
I do, yeah.
Simply that's the accountability arm of your program. And he's done now. So I guess I say, so Pat used to tell me, look, he's like, it's just not the same. He's like, people will show up late to practice. People will be showing up wearing whatever. People be showing up under the influence of things. Like, and there was no accountability at all. And it's been obviously shared. Somebody that works in the creative department talked about how Benny often used to ask them to shoot content for his Instagram. And it wasn't an OU stuff. Like, it wasn't OU stuff. It was just, he cared more about being that reality show, celebrity trainer, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, he gonna get a ton of that out of LA. He gonna get a
Yeah,
ton
exactly. Yeah. There was nobody that wanted to go to LA more than that guy. So, and he was never anything but nice to me. Like, if there was one guy that probably liked the steaks more than anybody, it was that guy. Like, he just stood by the table and snacked on steak the whole day while everybody else is out doing their table touches and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he was he's very celebrity trainer driven. So, but that's the thing. It's not just about, your strength and conditioning coach, of course, he spends all summer with these guys. He spends more time with them than the coaches, but it's about accountability and it's about shaping your team like you want them. There's been reports that some coaches blamed Benny for not getting their players' bodies right. You saw us be blown off the line over and over. You didn't see us with that physicality that you normally see. And that's where that comes from. That's where that's instilled. And everybody's like, man, where's this leadership going to come from? Where's this? It's supposed to come from your strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
You've got to have confidence in your body, in your process, in your practice. You've got to have confidence in those things to go up and make those plays. And if you're not, if you look good with a shirt off, but you don't have any power to you, then you're not going to be playing confident because the guy across from you is better prepared for this.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, if you think about it, I was thinking about this today. Like, remember how when Orlando Brown went to the combine and he felt like he didn't do great on the bench press, like, whatever. Like, I thought about that. I was like, man, like, I feel like people will look at that and be like, what is Schmitty doing? But then you put on the tape and he's out there mauling people. And it made me think, like, if he
It's
had
a great point.
If he had Benny Wiley, like, could he maybe have done could have done better on bench press? Could he maybe have looked better? Like, obviously, because everybody was clowning him for how he looked at the combine, but it was never about that.
No.
It's about
football.
Can
you play? Can you play football?
Can you play football? And do you have that football strength, right? Like, and that's what it's about. I think, like you said, that's clearly what's been missing. And, obviously.
That's a great point. I completely forgot about Orlando Brown's combine, and that's a great point. But yeah, it's there are certain guys that are going to rise above it. You saw Creed, his freshman year, was a freshman All-American. Lincoln called him maybe the best player on the team, on a team that featured Kyler Murray. He said that Creed Humphrey was his best football player, and he just, not to say he did regress, but when you get a guy that good, even when he regresses, he's still an elite dude. But now you're seeing him in the NFL with that program, and it's just, man, he looks like a completely different, just a different beast, in the NFL, because it's about, can you play football? That's simply what it is, and he can absolutely play football.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and I think I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked that that's being used on the recruiting trail by certain coaches that are saying, "Hey, you got to come to OU because we're about to get your body like don't put on the 2019 tape. Don't put on the 2020 tape. Don't put on the 2021 tape. Put on the 2017 tape, the 2016, the 2018 tape. Put on that tape because Bill Bedenbaugh has, he's the same coach he's been. He's an elite coach.
Yeah.
He's the exact same coach he's been. So you have to look at common denominators, right? So if this coach has always been a top offensive line coach, all of a sudden there's a change in an extremely important part of the program, and his lines just somehow aren't performing like they. Did anybody believe that Bill Bedenbaugh forgot how to coach?
Yeah,
because I guarantee you none of his suitors did. So that's the thing. It's, you look at it and it's, I think that they've got to be honest with recruits and just say, hey, look, you got to look at these tapes because this is the strength and conditioning coach that we'll have. It would be interesting to see how much they're using the strength and conditioning in the recruiting pitch, and how much they're basically using tape or using whatever, using combine results, using this, that, and the other. It'll be interesting to see how they're using it. I hope I can get some insight into that. If I can, you guys will be the first to know. Well, maybe if it's on a Wednesday and I find out, you'll be the first to know.
Yes, sir.
I'll try and find out on a Wednesday.
It's crazy because, like, if you listening to a lot of Gabe and Teddy shows, like I listen to Gabe and Teddy all the time on Sundays and Mondays and whatever. And, one of the biggest things Gabe always talked about with the offensive line in particular, because I see a lot of the comments are saying, ever since Benny got here, the offensive line regressed. Man, that's probably true. And Andrew Rain and Anton Harrison, he would always say over and over again, man, like the biggest things, like obviously Anton Harrison had a little bit to work on in terms of technique, but mainly, especially talking about Rain, he's like, man, what he needs, like he needs to get in the weight room pretty much. Like what he needs to fix can't be fixed until the off season. And I'm not sure if they were on board with that actually happening with Benny Wiley. But now I feel like with Schmitty being back, I mean, you may see Rain turn into the player that most feel like he can be. And obviously, we don't know if he's going to be a center or guard, and we'll leave that for later on, when we do depth charts and stuff like that. But no, I'm excited about Schmitty being back, and the players are excited. But
I don't know if it's precedent or not. And no, Beatonbow is not going to USC. But I'll tell you what. Has a strength and conditioning coach ever gone on a recruiting visit? I've never thought about that.
That's a great question.
You wouldn't think so. You would think that he's part of the support staff, but guys people on the support staff, like Chip can go on visits, and he's not necessarily a position coach or anything. I wonder, that would be interesting if you had Schmitty going on these last few in-homes.
Yeah.
Like if you get Brent Venables and Schmitty to sit down and be like, look, this is we dogs now. So and Schmitty'd probably be like, what, you ain't got a Stairmaster in here? The hell? I'm gonna take your offer. I'm gonna take your offer back.
Bro. Hey, let's real quick. I wanna I'm putting this up here. Listen.
No, stop.
Look, he's like, stop talking about. Listen. You need
people make fun of me on message boards.
Place as king of Sooner Twitter as you've been crowned this past week. Hey, but for real, Trav, I want you to talk about your experience in the last week with these OU spaces and even being on the news and just everything that's happened, because it's been kind of crazy, and it's been cool to see you navigate it, bro. To be honest with you navigated it so well, and you're a humble guy. I think that's why people flock to you. Also, can we get this man to 10K? I think he's like 80 away, like for real. So make sure you go get him to 10K right now.
I'm close.
But no, seriously, just explain your experience this week, bro. Like with the spaces and even being on the news and everything.
Well, I'll tell you what. I appreciate the kind words, but I'll tell you what. Twitter Spaces came at the right time, didn't they? We've had a to TB Hayden. So that's the thing. It came at the right time because spaces offer such a unique opportunity for so many people to, talk and hear people's voices and just hear that calm, like, hey, let's kind of flesh this out. Let's sit and talk, and maybe none of us know who the coach is going to be, right? But let's continue to talk about it. That's why we have Parker on. That's why we have Brandon on. That's why we have those guys on, because they know more. They just, that's their job. So with that, it was, early on, it was like, man, we got to make this space. And people started messaging me about, this is,
Thanks,
man, can I have some?
You gonna say hi?
Hey, what's up? Good to see you.
That's wifey.
Good to see you. Congratulations on your baby girl.
Thank you.
Taking care of me.
Oh, I tried.
Love you.
So it's funny because I've had people reach out and be like, hey, the whole reason I even got a Twitter is because I heard about these spaces, because my brother, my cousin, whoever was in them, and they said they were learning a lot, or they were just calmed down a bit. That's the key, is that they've been calmed down, and I talk about winning the water cooler, right? So that's my thing. All these people and all the OU fans in the comments or whatever, all 200 of you watching, like every one of you got a text or a call, or when you saw somebody, your barber asked you about it, was, oh man, what do you think about OU stuff? my dentist asked me today when he's got 4 people's hands in my mouth working on stuff. I'm like, dog, I don't think you have time to tell just a broad question of, what do you think about OU football stuff? But anyways, like everybody's getting asked about something, whether it's your brother, whether it's your cousin, whatever. What do you think about this? Well, now I think people have been able to answer that a little bit more confidently because of, listening to Parker talk, listening to Sam Mays come on, listening to, Brandon come on, and even listening to Kenneth Murray, listen to these recruits, listen to RSJ and Gentry and Kobe and all those guys come through. I think that kind of shit's, even Tommy Harris. I think that kind of stuff's really important. So, it's been a lot of fun. Although, man, this is how many nights in a row? It's a lot of nights in a row. It's been funny because people will message me, and I'll get messages from people that I don't know. Nick Evers is a quarterback that was committed to Florida, I believe, Lori. But I'll get messages. Hey, you're doing space tonight, right? I'm like, I guess.
Man, you gotta let him sleep, y'all. You can't do it every night. Man, got 3 restaurants.
No. I'll be there. I don't know how much longer. Maybe after the staff gets filled out, but I definitely want to do like a weekly thing or something like that.
Usually you're on a rotation,
Maybe Sunday nights or something like that. Because Sunday nights work well typically for me because Monday I don't have the gym. The first night we ever did it, and we had like 1,600 people in there.
Yeah.
And I felt I'm not going to end the space if we've got, because at 4 a.m. we still had like 500 people in. So if we end the space and 500 people, like I'm not making the decision for 500 people. That's wildly selfish. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going. So 5 a.m. comes around and I lost track of what day it was. So I was like, oh crap. I was like, it's Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday. Somebody said Wednesday. And I was like, oh no, I have to be at the gym by 6:30. And it was like 4:45 in the morning whenever I said that. I was like, oh, I'm going to be worthless. Dog, I walked into the gym. My trainer looked at me like he's looking at a ghost. He's like, dude, what's wrong with you? I was like, dude, I took like a nap. And it was like so fresh in the coaching search that we still didn't know anything, and it was still kind of stressful, and we saw decommitment after decommitment, and so that's where I think I sat there. It was the worst workout of my life. I've had hungover workouts that were way better. Like I just went in there and it was like I think I did like a couple of shoulder presses. Bless you, a couple of shoulder presses, and then like. I think I talked the rest. I was like, I can't do this. So, but yeah, and then the next night, obviously, I fell asleep, and Tattoo put that tweet out and was like, everybody's asleep, and there was still like 100 people in the space or something like that.
I was up, and I was like, is there still a space? I was like, hold on. It's like 2 a.m. I'm like,
dude, I wanted to.
It was just dead quiet, and I'm like, what is going on?
I wanted so badly to just unmute myself and be like, all right, who's got a question? Like, I guess if I was just waiting the whole time, like, all right, who's got a question? Just waiting on you guys. So, man, we're just still in this space, man. That'll freak people out, especially like you, if you would just happen to like log back in or whatever, and I'm still talking. All right, who's got a question? I'd be like, damn, Trav, it's 8 a.m. What the hell are y'all doing?
That's what I thought. That's why I got to text you. I was like, bro, like, what's going on? And hey, I want to get through two points, and then we'll see if we have enough time to answer questions. Because I want you to get out of here so you can do the OU.
I want to throw this up too.
Oh, go ahead.
That's a good point. I just saw this. Yeah, I think it's interesting because the whole transfer portal, poaching recruits, this kind of thing. Venables is not big on the transfer portal because Clemson's not big on the transfer portal. Clemson does not give out many offers. Every offer they give out is a committable offer.
Yeah.
That's not true about every school. You got all kinds of schools just giving out offers just to cover bases. So I think Brent's going to subscribe to that. So expect very few offers to go out, but OU offers will now be looked at as gold.
Yeah.
Also, really probably won't hit up as much JUCO as we had been hitting up. I don't think for some reason, Clemson doesn't like JUCO and doesn't like transfers. I do think Dabo at least is going to be doing more transfer stuff. I think Brent is going to be doing more transfer stuff. I think he just has to, because we may not have many people on the team. Very rarely do you have a situation where, like, of course, at Clemson, they didn't have to take transfers because they were signing classes of 24 people, 25 people, 26 people every single year. Yeah. So your only attrition that you had was seniors or early draft.
And most of them weren't leaving either.
Yeah. So yeah, not a lot of people are transferring out. So I think it's interesting because Clemson could avoid JUCO and could avoid the transfer portal because they were never low on roster spots. If they had guys transfer out or had a couple of juniors, declare for the draft, they could just take more in the next class. So it didn't matter. But in this situation, you're going to sign a light class in 2022 by just the looks of it right now. So you'll have a light 2022 class. You already had a light 2021 class because Lincoln, was like, we can fill through the portal if we need. Yeah. You already have a lot of people transferring out, and you're going to have a lot of people going to the NFL. Right. So those are three things that I think will force. I think it'll force his hand to be like, look, we have to. We're not going to sign 30 people this class. Because the options after early signing day get a little thin because all the coaches or all the programs really need to get that early signature, right, for situations like this. But Bloodline brings up a good point. The two Florida recruits that were considered a package deal, Jaden Gibson and Nick Evers, recently decommitted. Both have been offered by OU in the last hour. I just saw the OU offer. I think we can still count the offers on one hand if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because that defensive tackle, then these two, if I've missed one or two more, that still keeps it on one hand, most hands at least. I got 5 fingers on my hand. I don't know what we got in the comments. I don't know if we got any Jason Pierre-Paul's in the comments that blew a finger off with some fireworks or something. But yeah, Shamar James continues to like tweets about getting to OU. That kind of stuff. I don't know how much help we are in getting recruits offers because these people do this for a living. I'm sure they know about a 5-star Shamar James. Like, I'm sure they know about him. If you're on the staff at Oklahoma and you don't know about a 5-star that might be interested in you, that's Venables. No, he wouldn't want to. He wouldn't want to flip Chris McClellan.
If the last
offered a defensive end. Yeah, so it's but that's what's interesting. Is definitely, I've been saying that a lot. Somebody messaged me about that. They're like, did you know that you say that's what's interesting a lot? I'm like, man, I had no idea. I think I just developed that because that's definitely new. I don't know who I am anymore. Venables' sons, I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, one's retired because of injuries.
Yeah, I don't
think one plays.
I think it might be the linebacker, and then the other one's a safety. I think it's Tyler and Jake. Is that right?
That sounds about right. We need them as recruiters. I'll tell you what, if Breesy decides to come over from Clemson, then I'm going to be on one.
Bro.
I'm going to be on one. But I don't see that happening. This is not a report.
Right. So how would you grade, personally, the Brent Venables hire, and why would you grade it that way? Had a lot of people talking about it. Heard a lot of commentary. It's not getting a lot of national news. It is a little bit like on Twitter, but when Lincoln gets hired to USC, Fox is talking about it. First Take's talking about it. All big shows. Ain't nobody said nothing about Brent, really, except for Skip, because he's OU fan.
Well, when so much of the media is in LA,
makes sense. Yeah,
and that's the best thing ever to happen to LA media that talks about college football. Because they can have Lincoln on the show whenever they want now.
Whenever they want to.
He's already been in studio. Oh, man. But he said today, 247 reported that on an interview that he said, well, I hope they eventually come to realize all the great times and that my time there is thought of in a positive light and whatnot. I don't see that happening.
It's gonna be a while.
I mean,
It's gonna be like 40 years, bro. If that. Like
yeah, I
the way
mean,
you
we
left,
still, well, in the way that we hold grudges, I mean, it's definitely going to be, it's definitely, we're a petty fan base.
like
So,
I feel like people in Oklahoma have kind of calmed down on the KD stuff a little bit. But like Oklahoma's a football state, dog. Like y'all are passionate about y'all sports, but Oklahoma's a football state. And you just basically disrespected the pro team in the state. Like the way you did it, and you had us out here defending ourselves and we fighting for our lives this past week and a half about our program, saying that we're a top 5 program, having to defend that we're a top 5 job, like all this stuff because you wanted to leave. And everybody's like, oh, you're not gonna leave if it's a top 5 job. And we're over here like, okay, bet.
yeah, and it's with KD, obviously, like you said, OU's they just have more fans. OU football is a bigger brand than especially what Oklahoma City was at the time.
Andrew
But
hasn't been on about him.
yeah, Andrew's not the calm type, anyways. So, but yeah, we're super petty. I mean, do you see the state senator that's trying to get 3 inches of highway named after Lincoln, right? Giving him the Lincoln
That
Riley
was something
Highway.
that Colin Cowherd today. He was like, "Oh, you guys are being dramatic. Get over it."
Yeah, exactly. But of course, where is he? He's LA. He's a West Coast guy, and
Yeah.
that move was very good for Colin Cowherd. He realizes that. So it's I don't know if Kobe actually delete anything, because I'm pretty sure Hayes.
I don't know if he ever tweeted it.
I think Hayes Fawcett
Yeah,
tweeted the commitment edit, and then Kobe shared it.
yeah, correct.
I don't think I've ever seen a Kobe tweet. You guys are welcome to tag me in it, or if you had a screenshot of it or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure it was just Hayes Fawcett tweeting about it. So I don't think there was ever a deleted tweet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So Hayes deleted the post. Interesting. I'm gonna message Hayes about that.
The game was fun. So what's your grade, Trav? And why?
My grade is an A-. The only reason it's not an A+ is because of the timing. I thought the timing, obviously, you can say Lincoln put us in this position where the timing is bad. I couldn't agree more. But a lot of life is not the problems; it's how you react to the problems, right? Well, how you respond.
Yep.
And through no fault of his own, I felt that we could have got Venables. I mean, he said our first call was Brett Venables, our first call. So if your first call says yes, then why are we dragging this out? Why are we waiting 7 days later? And this isn't 7 days later in February, right?
It's
this, or I'll say late February, because I know the original national signing days in February. So like early March. So let's say early March, it takes 7 days to hire a coach. Well, nobody would care because nothing crazy is going on then. This is the early signing period. You had very few days to get tattoos yelling in the comments.
I see him.
He's a menace tonight. He's had too much caffeine.
Too much.
But the actual person, Brett Venables, the actual coach, is a home run hire. But if it would have been 6 days earlier, what happens? What does that look like? Who do we keep? Who does he have time to say, hey, this is what we're going to do? And selfishly, the coaching staff. if you hire them earlier, these coaches know whether they're going to be retained or not.
Yeah.
So then they don't have to stress out going to bed every night, not knowing if they have a job.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a little selfish, but it's the fact of the matter. Like
Yeah.
you put a lot of people in, a lot of dire situations, and obviously everybody has a different definition of dire, but it's everybody's looking at, oh, Joey Clutch, man, he just did the thing, man. He saved us. Like, he did. I love Joe C. I just thought it could have been quicker, and so that's why I give it an A-.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I agree with you from your perspective. I think it could have been. I think it definitely could have been done quicker, especially when you consider it's the first guy they called, and so obviously Joe C's the way he is, and he's going to do his process, and we get that, but no, I agree with you, bro. I want to pull this up because it's my man Kickers Griffin in the Orange Down podcast. I was watching his he was on Fanatic Perspective, Texas guy, his podcast or whatever yesterday, and man, they were over here saying that Brent Venables is not a good hire.
Apparently, he said not a homeowner hire. I'm going to get him on that typo. Not a homeowner hire. Texas don't know nothing about homeowners because their coaches rent because they know they're not going to be there very long.
Facts, but that's just a fact. It was just hilarious because listening to spin this and he hasn't been. This is his first time being a head coach. Like, okay, how many times have we debunked that in spaces or on Twitter?
And we've talked about Texas values splash.
Yep.
They want the splashy hire. Well, how's that working out? I mean, they keep on getting just, again, like 3 years gone. Nope. Didn't do it. 4 years gone. Didn't do it. So if there's a Texas fan that has any question about this hire, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You wouldn't know a good hire if it smacked you in the face.
Facts. It's just, it's crazy. I was listening to him. I was just shaking my head the entire time. And then they even tried to come at Levy, and they were like, one of them, I forgot his name, but he was like, how many times did Levy score more than 30 points against a Power 5 team? Just some random stat. I'm like, okay, even if you want to pull that up, like, what was he did he have a top 5 offense or not in the SEC? Just in the nation, but he was in the SEC when he did it. Did he have a top 5 offense or not? Like, answer that question, right? And what could he do at OU with better resources, probably better talent, etc. And so it was just, I was listening to him, and it was ridiculous and annoying. But yeah, you're right. They wouldn't know a good hire if it slapped them in the face, and that's why they've been where they're at. And a lot of them think at best we're going to go 9-3 next year, and whatever else. And I'm telling you right now, if Caleb stays, a lot of people think we have a good shot to do even better. And I've said that, like, could we have a drop off? Yeah, it could happen. But man, like with Schmitty in there, the way that Brent Venables defenses work, and if Levy gets to keep Caleb in the second year, who's already shown so much promise, you never know what can happen, man. You really never know what can happen. And so that's why I would say on the matter. Real quick, last thing, and then we'll open up for some questions real quick. Who do you think we can get to stay that's in the portal? Obviously, we know Jaden Hazelwood's already committed to Arkansas. I've heard through the grapevine that Theo may potentially come back. I don't know anything about Stogner. I haven't heard anything. I want to see if you had heard anything or heard anything.
I haven't heard anything as far as people coming back. I still think the rest of the staff has to be filled out, and then on offense, I think the Caleb Williams situation needs to be figured out. So I think until those two things happen, I don't think we're going to have any answers on that necessarily.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, hopefully, Levy can convince, Theo, and I doubt he has a chance to Stogner, and he may not have a chance to Theo. Hopefully, he can convince him to come back and get back in the fold. Know that a lot of people are excited, and hopefully, again, Caleb. Obviously, everybody wants to know about Caleb and if he's going to stay or not. I know you had said that his family really loves Oklahoma, really loves Norman, and I think that would bode well. And with us hiring Levy, I think Levy can point to offenses that he's had, and again,
They're still looking for houses in Norman. So,
which is a good sign, I would say.
yeah, it's a great sign.
Yeah. Hey, let's answer some questions in here, and then we'll let you get out of here so we can get to that space. And I'm taking my butt to bed so I can feel better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You need to get some rest.
All right.
And at Ellen's at the basketball game, talking about Mims. Yeah, who said Mims went to? Yeah, Hazelwood went to Arkansas. Mims didn't go to Arkansas. Mario and Marvin Mims likely go as Caleb Williams goes. Those are the two that I would say probably more than anybody.
Mm. What do you mean?
It's technically what? Isn't it the veer and shoot offense that Browse runs?
Okay.
But I don't know. Naming things, I'm not sure. We went with Speed D and it didn't. Well, maybe we need to wait until it does something before we.
I don't think this is even a question.
Yeah, that's not a question at all.
You got
one of them has national titles.
Yeah. And Levy's not that. Levy's not. I would probably say as of right now, Teddy, you could say Riley's better than Levy or whatever else you want to say that, more longevity, but Levy is really not that far off if you look at statistics. Like not far off at all. And then obviously Venables has the edge on
the grand. Yeah, I would say more than an edge, just based on accomplishments.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, this makes sense because they're best friends.
Yeah. Sorry. Not that I forgot about him, but we hadn't been asked about him much.
Not this major. And my money to start as RB1 next year if Kennedy Brooks doesn't come back.
Zach Evans. All right, next question. I don't know. Maybe
you're gonna get people riled up. You're gonna get people riled up.
Hey man, we about to hop into space. It's time to get people riled up.
Hey, you gotta spread a rumor. You gotta start it off.
Right. I think so personally. I think
as he came, more.
Yeah, and I mean, especially at the back half of the season, that's what I like about Levy is he saw what needed to be done and changed up his entire approach in the back half of the season. And all of a sudden, they're running the ball like madmen. I love it. I've not seen Nick decommit. Has he?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. That's what I was gonna say.
I don't think he's decommit. And with Oregon losing their coach, I mean, I think now that at least we've got one, we're at least up on his previous favorite. So
I don't think he's gonna. I feel like he wouldn't go to USC either way. I mean, Riley sat there and told him, convinced him to flip to OU, and then left him in the dark about USC. So
I'll be jumping off. Thoughts on defensive end coach we hired? It's great, young guy. Played at Clemson. He's a good recruit or a good recruiter. Seems to be a good coach. Definitely feels like just one of Venables' guys. Confirm. Like Kevin Sawchuk. My name would be on Kevin Sawchuk. Yeah, Sawchuk will definitely be in the conversation, but for a true freshman running back to come in, that's tough. So, but I want to jump off. It's 10:01.
Yes, go. Hey, y'all go follow him. To OU's rumors and info. I'm gonna stay back for like 3-5 minutes if you have any extra questions, just to give y'all some more.
For sure.
Go to OU rumors and info. Try, appreciate you, dog. Love you.
Love you, man. Feel better. I'll talk to you tomorrow for sure.
All right, brother.
All right, later, bro.
All right. Hey, like I said, y'all, go ahead and head over to OU rumors and info on Twitter. Continue. The Wednesday night special, as we're going to be calling it. It's going to be up there. I'm going to stay on for about 5 more minutes, answer some questions if y'all have any. I'm going to go to bed because I feel terrible. I'm AD. I got to get up early tomorrow. I got coach tomorrow, so I need to try to get healthy. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, Mr. John. Obviously Lanning's name is out there. I'd be shocked if that happened. You had the Hall guy from Troy early in the week that we had talked about. But I think you have to look at it and you have to say, who is Brent going to trust? And we just don't know that yet. I don't know who he's going to promote. I don't know if he's going to bring over Bates and promote him or what he's going to do. We'll just have to see. Thanks, Kurt. Love you, dog. Thank you, Sooner Steve. Appreciate you. Thank you, baby girl, on the way in April. Looking forward to it. Hey, you guys got any more questions? Go ahead and drop them below. I'm still going to stay on here for about 3 more minutes. And if not, go ahead and head over to Twitter. Go to OU Rumors and Info. You'll find it at the top. Trav's going to be leading it. I'm sure TB will be there as well. Excuse me. Yeah, I think we can absolutely see the offense be better in 2022, especially than what we got this year. I mean, this year is the worst offensive year we've had since 2015. Some might even say it was worse than 2015. And I think a lot of people can reasonably say that it was because Riley had his foot out the door. Like, have we seen Riley's offenses regress a little bit? Yeah, but we've never seen it be kind of that inept. And it was the perfect storm because obviously a couple of us had a blind loyalty, so we didn't want to see some stuff that maybe were telltale signs, but there were things that made sense. I mean, Caleb's a true freshman. As good as he played, we said, oh, he's gonna hit a rough patch against these good defenses. And it seemed like he did, but it didn't seem like Lincoln was doing anything to try to help him. And then, you also have the fact that the offensive line was not that great. And that's not necessarily on Lincoln. I mean, the offensive line just was not great. And so there's not a lot of things that could always be done, especially running the football all the time. And sometimes in pass pro. Receivers weren't really getting open. I mean, there's a lot of things. And yeah, you want to say could have done better, could have been better. Yeah. But I think we could see it be better simply from the fact that Jeff Levy is going to coach the hell out of whatever he does. And that he's going to adjust as he sees fit. Yeah, he can. I mean, I was watching something yesterday on Levy, and he was at some Texas high school coaches convention that they do. They bring college coaches that teach different concepts that they can pass on to high school coaches, give them back. And Levy was explaining how if the box is light, we're gonna run it 80%, 70% time. He was like, but I'm also gonna give RPO. So if my quarterback, if it's off coverage and we can get 5-6 yards, we're getting it if they give it to us. But other than that, he's like, yeah, if it's a light box, we're running that thing. So yeah, like he's not gonna be. He wants to be aggressive. But he's the type that, like, hey, if you're going to play a light box in front of me or umbrella coverages, we're going to just run it down your throat. We're going to be physical. That's what he's about, straight up. Yeah, I mean, that's like I'm saying, Kirby. I think it's somebody that has given some rumors about Michigan coach, and Dan Lanning is obviously a name that's been thrown out there. Again, I would be shocked, but anything could happen, especially when this administration feels as disrespected as they did. I don't know. I mean, are we talking about like the playoffs, or because I mean, I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I think we've had good performances in Big 12 championship games, in particular, to be honest with you, Weston. So I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean playoff games? Yeah, that's big. I mean, you got freshmen coming in, Caden Helms, Jason. I don't know how you say his last name, Lowman. Yeah, I don't know, but we're going to see and figure that out. And here's the thing, like, so we're going to be more of a tight end room than probably H-back room now. I need to again see how Levy's offenses work, but I don't know if it's going to feature the H-back as much as Lincoln's did. It could. Don't get me wrong on that. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think that we're going to have somebody step up. And I wonder if that's somewhere they look at the transfer portal. Hopefully they can get stopped to come back. So, peace. Appreciate you. I don't know. That's a great question. I'd say the same thing. I mean, I think right now it's a lateral move. It's a lateral move. If he wants to say he wants to come and coach under Coach Venables, I can understand that, right? Because, I mean, you could say, oh, he's coaching under Kirby Smart and he has a good thing. Yeah, he's coaching under Kirby Smart, but are we going to say that Kirby Smart is a better defensive coach than Brett Venables? Right? I mean, Kirby, don't get me wrong, Kirby's won national championships with Bama before, but I mean,
Brent has been a part of taking down Alabama's offenses before in games, right? That Clemson has won. And so, you could say, well, Brent Venables has actually beaten Nick Saban. Obviously, he wasn't the head coach, but he's defensive coordinator. He's part of that. And so I think you could put Brent Venables in the Kirby Smart echelon as far as defensive minds go, right? And so I think that's a potential thing to look at. And that, yeah, I mean, we're OU. Like, we have good standing. I still think it's a lateral move, but like I can understand why somebody want to come out and potentially leave. And I don't know if he calls plays or not. I've heard he does. I've heard he doesn't. I don't know what's true, what's not. But if he doesn't call plays, that may be definitely a reason to want to be at OU. Yeah, I mean playoff game. Yes, I thought you said championship, so if playoff for sure. But except for no, I mean, yeah, you said that. But Big 12 championship games, he actually generally did good in. Are there any other questions, y'all, before I head out? Okay, steadily losing people. I'm assuming y'all go into the OU rumors and info space. Hey, I appreciate y'all so much. Man, we'll see y'all here next Wednesday. I appreciate y'all. I don't know, Sensei. I haven't heard much, to be honest with you. Lanning's the only name I've heard, but there's been no actual credence given to that. There's nothing that I could confirm. I'll say that there's nothing I can confirm on that end. So Lanning's the only name I've really heard. Leonard, I think, is another name from Wisconsin that could potentially come, but that's very loose. So I think now that we've hired Levy, I'm sure that we're gonna focus on getting a DC next. So hey, I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go rest up, try to get better. Boomer. See y'all next week.